don't want the "I want a cheaper price" door to be lightly closed. You want it sealed shut. So set your consistency anchor and ask power questions 4, 5, and 6. This will permanently change the price dynamic. Let's take a look at an example of each question. Question number 4. When you consider how important each of these small things are to the value of your education, safety of your family, etc., why do you suppose other providers skip them? Question number 5. Suppose another company offered you a lower price, but they cut corners in these areas and you ended up with an inferior result. Would you have saved any money in the long run? And question number 6. I'm going to share our prices with you. Some people may wonder why our price is slightly higher than other companies. Now that you understand the value of our product, is that going to be a concern? Once you get the answers to questions 4, 5, and 6, and your prospect acknowledges that they don't want to sacrifice quality for a cheap price, you need to explain the solutions that you're going to recommend in the closing sequence. You need to explain how they work before you attempt to close. You also need to explain how each solution would solve each problem. Remember, the confused mind says no, so keep it simple. It's a mistake and extremely presumptuous to decide to recommend solutions based on what you think the prospect wants or can afford. It's your responsibility to diagnose and recommend. It's your prospect's job to decide what he or she wants to buy. Now, as a consumer, what typically goes through your mind when you see the price of something? Typically, we ask ourselves, how can I get it cheaper? This is what most consumers think, and it causes a lot of trouble for sales professionals as we're trying to close. So change the price dynamic at the end of the sales hallway. Everything that you've done so far should create the expectation that you're not the cheapest option. How your company cares about its customers, employees, the care that goes into your products and services. These things are all designed to create the expectation that you're going to cost more than your competition. All this is done so that what's going through your prospect's mind is, man, I hope I can afford these guys, which is a much different thought than, how can I get them cheaper? This will change the dynamic of the conversation at the end of the sales hallway when you are trying to close. To increase the probability that your prospect is thinking this, you must stress it during your product service demonstration and then conclude this step with the following question. Mrs. Prospect, based on everything you've seen here today about our company, our products and our services, and our amazing people, is there any reason other than price that you wouldn't trust my company with this purchase? To which your prospect will typically say, no way. If I can afford you guys, I'm going with you. And she's also thinking to herself, man, I hope I can afford these guys. This is a much better conversation for you to have, especially since you're probably not going to be much more expensive than your competition. If you have extended yourself emotionally and professionally to your prospect, you will be worth the extra 10 or 20%. If there is any doubt about that in the prospect's mind, I will show you in the next step how to straighten them out very quickly. This also negates any future objections to price. Price is the easiest objection to confront.